Alright, I think it's going. Let's see. I believe it is going. Let me see if my mic's working. Yes, it's working. Okay, good. Good stuff. Alright, we're live. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to make sure that was right, make sure it was working. Alright, well, we're going to be going over the bracket. Actually, let me send this out real quick. I'll send it out in a little bit, whatever. But anyways, here's my brackets. Tournament challenge. Just figured I'd do, my rundown, the night before after the first 4 games. This is pretty much it. I got my homer bracket, my balls. I have them winning the first one. Not realistic, if I'm being completely honest. Second one's probably my most realistic bracket, I would say. That's my for real bracket, I would probably guess. And then the third one has a few differences. I think I put Illinois. I think I put Illinois in the second bracket to go to the championship. But that's the one we're going to be looking at. And I think I put Baylor in this one. But we're going to be looking at the second one. And honestly, there ain't too many upsets from what I remember putting down. Let's see. Yeah, I had Illinois going. Okay, that's who it was. But essentially, let's see. Essentially, this is my realistic bracket. This is the one I'm putting down for my little challenge we're doing, at work. Trying to win some money. We'll see what happens there. We put a prize pool about $5 put in per bracket. So I got 3. I got 3 of them. Just to see what would happen. I feel like I could predict pretty well. But might as well get started. We'll see. Let's go. Let me share this real quick. All right, so first one, obviously Gonzaga. Not much to say there. I think they're going to win that one. Oklahoma, Missouri. I'm going to stick with Oklahoma, despite Oklahoma's point guard being out due to COVID. He's their second leading scorer, from what I read. I don't know too much about them. Now I know Missouri's. They started off really, really good. They actually beat Illinois, and they beat a few top teams actually early on in the season. Where are they at? Yeah, they beat Alabama, Illinois, beat Tennessee one time, beat Oregon. They beat Oregon, yeah. Beat Arkansas too. Arkansas's a 3 seed, So Missouri's beaten some good teams, but they've just been up and down lately. I picked Oklahoma before the COVID happened to the point guard. I can't remember his name, but I'm going to stick with this pick. I feel like Oklahoma can still battle it out. And beat them. I just think Missouri's a little bit too up and down, but this could go either way. The 8 and 9 matchups this year are actually pretty interesting. Almost all of them are. In the next bracket, I'm pretty sure there's LSU and St. Bonaventure, and that should be a good game. St. Bonaventure won the A10, and LSU honestly should have won the SEC championship, but that'll be a good one. Then you get North Carolina, Wisconsin over here. And the other one is Georgia Tech and Loyola. That's in the Midwest bracket. That was going to be a good one. I think Loyola's going to get this now because Georgia Tech's star player, ACC Player of the Year, is out. Moses Wright, I think his name is. He's out. So, I don't know. Good 8-9 matchups, but I'm going to stick with Oklahoma there. Creighton and UC Santa Barbara, I guess that's who it is. I can't, 5 and 12 is usually the upset pick. Usually the 12 seeds always upset the 5 seeds more so than any others. I don't know. I don't see Creighton losing this one. They made it to the championship, just got beat by Georgetown, I think it was, if I remember right. But I don't know. I can't see them losing first round, even though they're going to be fired up after that disappointment because it was a blowout in the championship game. Virginia, Ohio. Virginia should win this. They should be able to stop that one player. I can't remember his name. It'll probably pop it up right here, actually. But he's like apparently like a big NBA prospect. And my stupid computer will load. But he's like a big NBA prospect. I can't remember his name, but he's really really good. But Virginia's high level, so they should be able to stop him and make others beat them. Um, let's see, what's his name? Jason Preston. There you go. Yeah, he's pretty good. But it won't be enough. In my opinion, it's good. It'd be good to see upsets, but I can't see it happening. He could pull a Steph Curry, and he could go off for like 30 points. And I think didn't Davidson they beat like Kansas or something. This was back in like 2008 or something like that. But yeah, he could pull that. Who knows? And then if they get past them, they could easily beat Creighton too. But I don't see it. USC is actually playing Drake because Drake beat Wichita State earlier, which surprised me honestly. Um, I don't know. Drake could have the momentum going into this because it was a close, hard fought game. But it's hard to factor whether rest helps or if the game like a game played prior to the game in a tournament, like a tournament like atmosphere helps. It's hard to gauge those two. I think just USC's played better competition. I guess the Pac-12 ain't the best, but I think USC will probably pull this away. I mean, I don't know. I don't know too much about USC and Drake whatsoever, but I'm just gonna choose USC there. Kansas, Eastern Washington. That's not too much to say. I think Kansas got the talent. Oregon, VCU. That should be a good game. Oregon should have won the Pac-12. They lost to Oregon State, who plays my Vols. If I can see that right there. But I think they just had a bad shooting night that game. But I don't know. I expect Oregon to win this just because their coach, what's his name, Altman or something, should put them in the right position to win with their athletic ability. They're a better team than VCU in my opinion. They should win that, but this could be another upset. It really could. Iowa Grand Canyon. Not going to go over that. I think Iowa's going to win that one pretty handedly. Michigan Texas Southern. Michigan should win that pretty handedly. LSU St. Bonaventure, that should be a good one. LSU, they kept it close with Alabama in the championship. They should have won, in my opinion. They got a bad draw in terms of being an 8 seed. They should have been a little higher, in my opinion, like maybe a 6 seed or something. But it's just the way the committee works, I guess. I don't know. St. Bonaventure I think they beat VCU for the championship in the A10, so they're a pretty decent team. So that's going to be a good game. So whoever wins this one could play Michigan and beat Michigan. But I have LSU winning just because they played in a tougher conference, played tougher opponents, probably get the better players. I can just see them pulling through. That Javante Smart dude, he keeps his pants all the way up. Keeps his shorts all the way up like he's playing in the 80s. But hey, he's playing pretty good like he's in the 80s, man. He's like, I'm not going to say he's like a Larry Bird or anything. He don't drill threes, but he plays pretty good. He's pretty quick and driving in the lane and whatnot. Colorado, Georgetown. Georgetown obviously got in because they won the championship in their conference, and that's the only way they were going to get in. I see, I can see their running ending here. They could go on a big run. Who knows? With who is it? Patrick Ewing. That's their head coach, and so they could go pretty far with that. But I'm not too sure on that. Colorado lost the Pac-12 championship to Oregon State, but they had whooped them the previous 2 times. I think they just had a bad off night against Oregon State in the championship. I think it was on Saturday. I can see them bouncing back. They're a 5 seed. Once again, 5 and 12 seeds. Usually, the 12 seeds are really good and can upset the 5 seed. For some reason, it's always like that. But I could see. I don't know. I don't see it. I see Colorado holding on defensively at least and beating Georgetown because Georgetown had to win the championship to make it, and so did Oregon State. Someone like Oregon State, another 12 seed, they had to win their championships to make it, and I just don't think. I think they just had a good run. Um, that's just my prediction for both games, but you'll see the other one later. Florida State, UNC Greensboro. Florida State's just athletic. They're always hyper athletic. I don't know where they get their players from. I guess from like the swamp of Florida or something like that. I have no clue, but they should win that one. BYU, UCLA. UCLA played a great game tonight. I caught the end of that one. They beat Michigan State. That was good. They came back and won that in OT. And I could see honestly now that it's UCLA. Knowing that it's UCLA, I could switch my pick here for the upset because this feels like a Tennessee from a few years ago when Tennessee went to overtime against it was Iowa, and we played Massachusetts, who was a 6 seed, and we ended up mopping the floor with Massachusetts, and then we ended up playing Mercer, who beat Duke the previous game in the first round with Jabari Parker. I'm pretty sure it was. So I could see them going on a little run, maybe. They would have to rely on, obviously, Abilene Christian beating Texas in the same sense that Mercer beat Duke. I don't see that happening. But UCLA can cause an upset here. That one guy's name's like Jaquez or something, or I don't know. He was shooting threes. He's got a clean and good looking shot. And Judong, he was doing pretty good driving in the lane tonight from what I saw. But I'm gonna stick with my gut and say BYU wins this because they played Gonzaga pretty close. In the championship game, they had actually, I think, a 12-point lead on them or something like that. Let them come back, but Gonzaga's the number one team in the country. So if you can hang with them, you can be pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my gut on this one. BYU, Texas Abilene Christian, whatever you want to call it. I don't see Texas losing this. They just won the Big 12 against Oklahoma State against Cade Cunningham, and who had knocked off Baylor the prior to that. And I don't know. I don't see any problems for Texas really. UConn, Maryland. Here's one of my few upsets. Now my internet wants to be goofy. But anyways, UConn and Maryland. I see Maryland could be an upset here just because they do play in the Big Ten, so they've played tougher competition. They've ruined some of my bets that I made on DraftKings for like parlays and stuff because I figured they beat someone. I can't remember who it was. They beat a few teams like on the road and stuff that kind of screwed me in a parlay where they were like the betting odds were like plus like 400 or something. Like, oh, they're gonna win that one. And Maryland shocks them. And I think one of them they won at Illinois, and Illinois is really really good. I think one of them was Purdue and Wisconsin. They somehow beat them. I don't know how, but I think with them being in a tougher conference, this is really the only reason I'm picking them. They should beat UConn, in my opinion. I think UConn lost to Georgetown, actually, in the Big East tournament, I think. But I see Maryland getting the upset here. Alabama, Iona. I don't like Alabama. I hate Alabama, but they have a great team. If they're 3 balls on fire, then they're pretty good because they have a good defense as well. One of the best in the country. As much as I want to see Alabama get beat, I don't see them losing. So, obviously, to a 15 seed would be one of the few times it would happen, but it's not going to happen. So, we'll go with that one. We'll go up top to the South bracket, and I picked Baylor to beat Hartford. There's no, I don't, it's 116. It's only happened one time in history, and that was a few years ago. I think it was UMCB against Virginia. I think is who it was. Yeah, I know it was Virginia. I can't remember the team who lost or who beat them. But anyways, yeah, I don't see it happening. North Carolina, Wisconsin, another good game. Wisconsin's more battle tested, I think. The ACC had a down year this year in terms of Duke, and even Carolina actually outperformed the expectations a little bit. Duke was down. Virginia started off great, and then they kind of like pity pattered. And Florida State's always start off pretty good, and they end up falling to the mid rankings of the ACC. So the ACC wasn't as strong, and I think the strongest conference is the Big Ten, or one of at least. Wisconsin played pretty tough against like some Michigan, Ohio State, Illinois, all them, and I think they even upset. Let's see. Okay, never mind. They didn't upset anyone, but that's a tough. It's a tough conference. Even Purdue, I forgot about Purdue and Iowa. Ohio State they lost by 12. So they've played in a tougher conference. I think they're built more for it with their senior laden team. They'll slow the game down. I think they should win it. Yeah, but this could be a toss-up, but I'm going to go with my gut here with Wisconsin. Villanova, Winthrop. Villanova, they got beat in the tournament. Who did they get beat? They got beat by someone, I don't know, in their conference tournament, but I can't remember who it was exactly. They lost their. I remember reading an article about them losing their uh, guard Gillespie, who was like the leading scorer, second leading scorer, and he was like a playmaker, shot creator. Could create his own shot, hit open threes, hit contested threes, and whatnot. So losing him's a big blow. Now Winthrop does have a. I remember when they punched their ticket, I got the ESPN notification, and one of Tennessee's former players, DJ Burns, is on that team, and he had a double double, I think, and he's playing good for him. So I can see Winthrop possibly upsetting them. This is one of the 5-12 matchups that I could see going, to the 12 seed like it usually does at least once per tournament. I think Villanova will scrape by though, just by the skin of their teeth. Just with experience, their coach is pretty good. I can't remember his name. It's Jay something, I think. Jay Wright or something, I don't know. But I see them getting by with the skin of their teeth on this one. Purdue, North Texas. I think Purdue's got this one in the bag. I don't see too many problems, and if there is, they'll probably stave it off and come back. Texas Tech, Utah State. This could be a good one because Texas Tech's been faltering. Mac McClung, the Georgetown transfer, the viral YouTube dude, or highlight dude, whatever you want to call it. He came to Texas Tech. They started off great and were like in the top 10, I'm pretty sure. But they've just been kind of pitter-pattering in the Big 12, conference play. So I can see Utah State beating them. I don't know too much about Utah State, but I can see an upset happening here. But I just don't. I'm gonna go with my gut. I think pretty conservatively sometimes, and I think Texas Tech will overpower them. If they start off the game good, then they should be fine. Arkansas, Colgate. Some people are actually predicting that Colgate can beat Arkansas. I myself, I don't see it too. I don't see it because I watched Arkansas in person in the tournament when they played in the semifinal against LSU. Watched them in person. They got a pretty solid team, like size wise. I can't remember some of the players' names, but they played pretty well. So I don't know where people are saying that Colgate could beat them. Maybe they're a good 3-point shooting team. I don't know if they played anybody spectacular. No opponents. Yeah, they didn't play anybody spectacular. Plays at one of the faster paces in the country. Best at effective field goal percentage in offense and defense. Let's see, they excel at limiting opponents from getting open looks around the arc. So I guess they probably have a solid team, 14-1. COVID probably had a lot to do with that. So who knows? That could be an upset there too. I'm just gonna go with Arkansas, the more battle tested team, the higher ranked team. I'm just gonna play it conservative. I probably shouldn't. I can see that would be fun to watch Colgate beat Arkansas, but I'm not gonna pick that for now at least. Florida and Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. This would be a tough one. I don't really know. I think they're overseeded a little bit at number 7. I don't think they're worth a 7 seed, but I think in this game they'll probably prevail against Virginia Tech. Don't know too much about Tech at all, just outside of them being in the ACC, and ACC had a kind of a down year. In Florida, they beat Tennessee up. And Trey Mann, if he happens to go off, he went off against Tennessee both times they played. Or no, the 3 times they played, I should say. And he went off for about 30 points in the game, the quarterfinals on Friday. Or last Friday, I should say. And I can see him going off again, and if he does, Florida should have the upper advantage, and I think they should win that. Ohio State, Oral Roberts, Ohio State should win that. They're one of the better teams in the country. All right, to round out the round of 64, we will go with Illinois Drexel. Not much to say. Illinois should wipe the floor with them. And my pick before this, I had to switch my pick up. Georgia Tech, obviously, like I said a little earlier, Georgia Tech's best player, ACC Player of the Year, Moses Wright, was out. I don't know. I think it was like an injury or COVID or something. I can't really remember. Let me check this real quick. Okay, let's see. I don't really remember like if it was like an injury or whatnot, but he's out. That's their best player. And, did they win a fluke ACC championship? Maybe because Virginia had to, because of COVID issues. Maybe. Loyola Chicago, they've got one of the better low-level teams in the country. They made that Final Four run a few years ago, even if it was a little fluky. My Vols lost to them on a fluke shot, in my opinion, and they just got really lucky. But anyways, I can see Loyola. They should be able to win this on the inside. That guy's name on the inside, Krutwig, I think his name is. He was on a freshman on that Final Four team, and now he's a senior. And I saw his stats, and he's done pretty good this year. So they should be able to play bully ball, slow the pace down, and probably beat Georgia Tech. Even though I don't know too much about both teams, I'm going to pick Loyola to win that. Another good matchup. All right, here's my game: Tennessee, Oregon State. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, my manners. I do see Tennessee winning this one. Oregon State's going to be a big upset pick for a lot of people. I really don't see why. I think it's just because they're on a run right now, and Tennessee, they just don't see a lot of offensive firepower in us. We do have one of the best defensive teams in the country, so when we are hitting our shots, we're usually pretty good, like how we started the year. Oregon State, I don't think I watched some of their highlights and, in the Pac-12 championship, and man, I think Colorado really just lost that game. Missed some free throws. And Tennessee, we may not have John Fulkerson. Most likely will not have him, I would say. They haven't even said yet, unless I've missed something. They're probably holding that back so that Oregon State can't really practice against us, Can't prepare, you can't prepare against Fulkerson, but, I think if we hand the ball to Johnson and Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer, we should be fine. Play great defense like we usually always do. Put Pons in their best player, or he might have to stay in the post because Fulkerson's out anyway. But that's besides the point. I think Tennessee's got this. It won't be a blowout, but I think Tennessee will either pull away or they'll be up and Oregon State will try to claw back and make it look closer than it seems. I think Tennessee's got this though. Oklahoma State, Liberty. A lot of people are picking Liberty to upset them. I don't know. I haven't seen Liberty play, but I don't know how you can choose anyone over Cade Cunningham at this moment. Best player in the country, number one projected number one overall pick. I don't see how you can pick over him at the moment. The way he plays in the last final 5 minutes of the game. If Oklahoma State's in a tussle, with Liberty, I can see him single-handedly winning that game against them. But Liberties are some people's upset pick. That would be good for me as a Tennessee fan if Liberty upset them, but I don't see it happening. I think OK State's going to go forward, and that would provide a big matchup in the round of 32 with the Vols, or with my Vols, obviously. That'd be enticing. Let's see. We're going to go down. Whoops, wrong button. San Diego State, Syracuse. Syracuse probably should have never made the tournament. And San Diego State's being predicted as a Cinderella team. There's really not much else to say. Syracuse probably shouldn't have made it. I've been seeing a lot of articles written about that and stuff. So I guess there shouldn't be more to say. I think San Diego State should win that one pretty simply, or put simply. West Virginia, Morehead State. West Virginia's been up and down. They should win this one, though, against Morehead State. Clemson and Rutgers. I have no clue about both of these teams. Clemson being a little higher rated. I don't even know. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I have no clue. I'm just gonna pick Clemson just because I have a feeling they'll win it. I have a feeling they haven't won if I remember right, they haven't won a tournament game in a while. So I'm just going to go with them with my gut. I don't really know. Houston, Cleveland State. Houston should win that. They're on a roll right now. And I've got Houston winning that. But that ends the round of 64. We will go to the round of 32. Gonzaga, Oklahoma. If Oklahoma, I'm sure because he had COVID, he's going to be out, the point guard. So I mean, that's going to be a big. Not that's can't even talk. That's not going to be a good thing against Jalen Suggs, and this won't be a. It may be a blowout. Who knows? I think Gonzaga's going to pull away either way, even if it's close. There's just no way. They're just unstoppable right now, and if you're missing your second leading scorer, sadly due to COVID, then that's kind of. I mean, it's kind of crappy, but at the same time, you just got to deal with it. But Gonzaga's firing on all cylinders right now. Probably easily the best team in the country. Creighton, Virginia. Creighton, I think the run-ins here with Virginia. Virginia stays clean with their COVID stuff. Um, I can see them. They should be able to, once they get past Ohio, that should be a good game, battle-tested, or like a litmus test game. There you go. There you go. I can't think of it. They should be able to beat Creighton. I think Creighton will scrape by Santa Barbara. I think that game will be close, and I just think Virginia's talent level is a little higher, and they should be able to pull this out in the end. USC, Kansas. Me not knowing too much about USC as a 6th seed. In Kansas, Kansas didn't start off the greatest. I think they started off good, and then in the middle part of the year, I know Tennessee. After Tennessee whooped them, which surprised me honestly, they started doing pretty decently. Or they were picking it up a bit, I'd say. So I got Kansas winning that one, I think. And this may not. It's probably be like a 5 to 10 point victory. I'd say it'd be pretty comfortable. I don't know much about USC though, so I'm not too positive on that. But Oregon and Iowa. Oregon, if Oregon advances and they happen to play Iowa, they do have the athletic advantage in Iowa. Iowa plays that slow ball. They can shoot threes. They got one of the best players in the country in Garza, Luka Garza. They just need to feed him if they want to beat Oregon or just beat anybody really. So Oregon has a chance here. They're athletic, well-rounded athletically, well-coached. But I see Iowa pulling this away. If they feed Luka Garza and they're on their shots and they play great like they usually do, or I shouldn't say like they usually do, but like most of the time they do, then they should be fine, I think. But that's what I see happening. Michigan, LSU. Now this round of 32 game, whether it's LSU or St. Bonaventure, this will be a great game, I think. Both teams, I think, would match up well with Michigan. LSU could easily pull off the upset. I would really want to pick LSU because if LSU would get past this, I really could see them beating Florida State and then go into the Elite Eight and possibly, rematch against Alabama, play Texas. LSU could go on a dark horse run, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't have any hard feelings against LSU football or basketball and just the school in general. But I'm gonna choose Michigan. I'm gonna stay conservative a little bit. Michigan might need that warm up game against Texas Southern. They might need that to get the kinks out of the armor, I guess. But it'll be a close game. It'll be a good game. As a fan watching the game neutrally, it's always nice to see. I'll have Michigan moving on. Colorado, Florida State. I think Florida State would move on with this. I feel like every year Florida State's like pretty good, and they get a high seed like 4 or 3, or something like that, and then they lose in the second round or the round of 32. I think they break the spell this year. I just have that feeling. I think they beat Colorado. I think they do. Just what I think. I don't know. Not too much is known for me about Colorado and Florida State, but I have a feeling Florida State will break the curse. BYU, Texas. I had Texas winning this one. I think Texas is on a roll right now. Um, and relatively, whether it be UCLA or BYU, honestly, I think Texas might roll through this game. Who knows? That's just what I think. I think Texas will roll through, and go forward to play the next game, next winter, Alabama. Maryland, they could. Who knows what could happen? They could upset Alabama. If Alabama is not shooting their threes well and they're not getting offensive rebounds, then you have the chance to beat them, like LSU did. LSU couldn't get the offensive rebounds, though, when I was watching that game. So Alabama's vulnerable in that regard, but that's a rarity, obviously. So Alabama, I think, with their great defense, they'll be able to clamp down even if they're not shooting shots well. So I got Alabama winning that one. Whoops. Let's see. Let's go back up. Baylor, Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's run-ins here. Baylor's probably a little bit too, before they lost to, I can't remember who they lost to other than Oklahoma State. They lost to Kansas. That's who it was. Okay, they lost to Kansas and Oklahoma State. So that's two good teams. Before those two losses, they were one of the best teams in the country, and they still are. They're my number 2 seed, I think. I would put them at the 2 or 3 spot overall. Them or Illinois being the 2 or 3. I think they just outmatched Wisconsin in this sense, and I have them beating Wisconsin. Just quick and simple. Purdue and Villanova. If Villanova gets past, Villanova's going to have, I think they'll have a hard time beating Purdue and standing up with their defense, or to that defense, I should say. Had to get on my phone for a little bit. So I do have Purdue winning this one. Might be a blowout, possibly. Who knows? Villanova's well coached, though, so I could see this being a good, hard-fought defensive matchup. But, yeah, I'm going to choose Purdue in this sense. Or in this game, not in this sense. Texas Tech and Arkansas. This is where Texas Tech's run comes to an end. And if Arkansas, if they happen to win this one, or win the first round matchup, I think they might handle Texas Tech pretty simply. They've got great size. They're athletic. It's all about Arkansas. Before they lost to LSU, I think they won 12 conference games in a row, or something like that from what I had heard, or what I had seen. Someone told me, and I looked it up. I can't remember what. I think it was like 11 or 12 in a row or something like that. But if they get on a roll again, they could easily, and as you can see here, I have them beating Ohio State, in the Sweet 16, which is crazy. But that's just what I'm thinking. I feel like they're going to go on a roll. But that's besides the point. We're just going to go with the Arkansas against Texas Tech. But that could go either way. I'm just going to choose Arkansas, though. Florida-Ohio State rematch of 2006 championship. That's a long time ago, 15 years ago. But I think Florida's going to be a little overmatched against Ohio State. I think Ohio State should beat them pretty handedly. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know. Illinois, Loyola, Chicago. This could turn out to be a decent matchup. Loyola always plays tough against good teams if they happen to play like they did a few years ago in the Final Four, or on their run to the Final Four. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to have Illinois beating them. Illinois is great, talented-wise. What's his name? Kofi Cockburn, and what's the guard's name? I can't remember his name. Ayo Dosunmu. He's pretty decent. So I think that level of play and that stardom, that star power, will overcome in this sense. So yeah, Illinois winning that one. Tennessee, Oklahoma State. This would be a tough matchup, for Tennessee. It's the one I saw when the brackets were released. I was kind of scared because I'm like, dang it, Oklahoma State, they're good. Cade Cunningham, obviously, he's like 6'8". He's literally like a Ben Simmons, but with a shot. Or some people are calling him a Luka because he plays point guard. But, I can see us guarding. Keon Johnson's a top 10. He's a lottery pick. He's projected top 10. Because he plays great defense and can create his own shot. But in this sense, for defense, he or Yves Pons can guard Cade Cunningham. One of the two. Now, it also depends on what happens with Fulkerson. Will Fulkerson be back? Because, we can't just put Pons, out of the post. He plays the 4 for us because he's hyper athletic. 6'6", hyper athletic, can jump out of this roof, of any roof. He had 9 blocks in the quarterfinal against Florida, so he could easily do that and guard well in the post. So we would probably have Keon Johnson against Cade Cunningham. And for some reason, it might be a homer in me a little bit. I can see us forcing other teammates of Cade Cunningham, other Oklahoma State players, to beat us. And I feel like that would be in our favor. It obviously might not be in our favor. Who knows? But might be a little homer coming out of me, but I think Tennessee would pull that off barely if they play the right game plan and we hit our shots on offense ourselves. Whether that be Keon Johnson, Springer, even Victor Bailey. If Victor Bailey gets going, whenever he gets going, we're always Tennessee usually wins when he gets over at least 12 points. That's his per game average, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna go with Tennessee. It's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with them. San Diego State, West Virginia. Like I said in the San Diego State Syracuse one, they are predicted to be a Cinderella team by some people and top analysts. But I'm gonna go with my gut. They could easily beat West Virginia. West Virginia's been a little sloppy. So I'm gonna go with West Virginia. Go with my gut for this one. I think they're little. They play a weird defense. I can't remember what it's called, but they play that press. They play that press defense that you play usually, that press full court that you usually play when you're down, and whatnot. So maybe that could cause some problems. Who knows? I can somehow just see West Virginia winning that. I don't know. I just go with my gut. A lot of these I go with my gut. It's probably better to do that than to hyper analyze it. So I'm just gonna go with West Virginia. Houston and Clemson. I think Houston would easily win this one. Clemson, I just have no clue. They're like Florida in the other bracket. You just really have no clue who they are, honestly, or like how good they are. I mean, they went 16-7, so I guess they're pretty good, or like decent at least. But Houston's on a roll, so I can see them winning that one. All right, so now we're finally to the Sweet 16. Got Gonzaga and Virginia. This would be a good matchup. I know Gonzaga beat Virginia by like 23 or 22 or something like that. Yeah, earlier in the season they won by 23 points. So an absolute blowout. I think this one would be closer, obviously. It'd be a great matchup. But, I'm going to pick Gonzaga to win again. I think the talent... Let's see. Hold on. Okay, there we go. My OBS was messing up there for a second. Dadgummit. That's interesting. Okay, so anyways, yeah, I don't know what that was all about. The OBS restarted for some reason. But, I would pick Gonzaga to win this one. Just to end that real quick. Kansas, Iowa. I think Kansas and Iowa have obviously played, being in the same... no, they're not in the same conference. I'm dumb, I think. I'm so dumb. Hold on. Let's see, did they play each other? I've had a feeling they played each other, but I guess not. But, I was 50-50 on this one. I didn't know who to pick, because Kansas has the talent, I think, and athletic advantage against Iowa. I feel like Iowa would just grit it out with Garza again. Big time players step up in big time moments. So I think this is what Garza will do, and I think Iowa will go to the Elite Eight after this. Michigan, Florida State. If Michigan makes it here, whoever gets out of that round of 32 game, whether it be LSU, St. Bonaventure, or Michigan, I think they have a good chance to beat Florida State in the Sweet 16. Either one of them teams, and I feel like Michigan would outpower Florida State in this game if they were to play. So I'm just gonna simply put, I'll just say that. Just going with my gut for that one as well. Now Texas and Alabama. That's gonna be a great matchup if it comes to that. Like I was saying with Alabama earlier, if their threes are not falling and they're not getting offensive boards, you can beat them if you shoot well on offense and you play great defense against them. Now it's a bit easier said than done, obviously, but I can see Texas. They won the Big 12 against arguably a better team in Baylor, and some people could say Oklahoma State might be better than Alabama. So Texas is on a roll right now, and I'm just gonna pick Texas to win that one. Just simply put, it'd be a good game though. It'd be a great game. Other side on the Sweet 16, Baylor and Purdue. Baylor, talent advantage. Purdue, they lost a few key players from about a year or two, or the past couple years. So I'm going to say Baylor doesn't easily win, but I think the choice is easy in that they do win, that's what I meant to say. So I'll just pick Baylor for that one. Arkansas, Ohio State. Here we go. Here's my Arkansas, going on a roll. Ohio State, obviously one of the best teams in the country. They just lost to Illinois in the Big Ten championship. So this game could be a toss-up. It can go either way. If Arkansas makes it this far, I think they can go on a roll, and I think they have the chance to upset Ohio State. I can see it happening. And that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with my gut. I had a few upsets brewing in me, so this is one of them. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for that one. Let's see. So Illinois, Tennessee. This is where, in a realistic setting, I want Tennessee to win. I'm going to root for them too if they make it this far. But I think Illinois would overpower us. And here comes, the whole if John Fulkerson is playing or not. If John Fulkerson is playing, we have a better shot, obviously. If not, then we're just going to get killed on the inside with Cockburn or whatever his name is. Yeah, I really want Tennessee to win that, but I would just see Illinois overpowering us, and it'd be a good game. It would be close. I don't think it'd be a blowout, but I think that's what would happen in the end. West Virginia, Houston. Here's another upset I'll have. West Virginia is not projected to really even go past, to some people, the second round, or the round of 32, I guess you could say. And for me, I have them going to the Elite Eights, which is kind of risky, but I have a feeling it'll happen. Houston's on a roll. I'm just going to go with my gut again. And, I don't know what it is with 3 seeds beating 2 seeds that I have in my bracket so far. I don't know what it is about it, other than Iowa, and Kansas could easily beat Iowa. I don't know. I just have a feeling the 2 seeds are just going to drop it. Battery low. Whoops. Gotta charge that. There we go. But yeah, I just see West Virginia going on a run. I feel like they're the team, one of the teams to go on that run along with Arkansas. But obviously, still just going with my gut. Don't really know much else to say. So I don't know. I just have 3 seeds going a little bit further this time around. It's not like the women's bracket where you can. For the women's bracket, you can pretty much pick the 1 and 2 seeds, on each side to go to the Elite Eight. Pretty much, that's what you can do most of the time. The disparity after seeds 1 through 4 is greater in women's basketball than men's basketball. But I just have a feeling in this tournament, the disparity is obviously closer between the 2 and 3 seed, but that's just my prediction. I'm just going to go with that for those 3 games. All right, here we go. Get the Elite Eight going. Gonzaga and Iowa. I think Gonzaga played Iowa earlier and beat them by like 10 or 11 or something, I think. Yeah, they beat them by 11. I think, once again, Gonzaga would beat Iowa. Be a good game. Now, Kansas, I think Kansas would give some problems to Gonzaga more so than Iowa would. So, depending on that game, my bracket could be busted from Kansas possibly beating Gonzaga with, they're matched up pretty well skill-wise. But, I don't know. I do have Gonzaga going to the Final Four after this. We'll just go ahead and do Baylor and Arkansas. I think this is where Arkansas's run ends, but if they make it this far, they could have some great momentum going through, and they'll be upset-minded, and they could do something. Who knows? I do have Baylor winning this one, though. Not easily, obviously, but I have them winning that. Michigan and Texas. If Michigan makes it this far, I think they're going to be battle tested enough to be able to make it to the Final Four. And Texas could easily do the same. Who knows? With that one, with Shaka Smart, Shaka Smart's got experience of taking them, as well as does John Beilein still coach for Michigan? Obviously, Beilein has freaking championship experience. He went against Louisville a few years back. But Shaka Smart with Texas, he's building that program up pretty well after he left VCU. He's also building up his hair. He's growing some hair too. So it'd be a good game. I think I'm going to choose Michigan for that one. For the final Elite Eight game, I'm going to choose Illinois over West Virginia. The bottom half of the bracket, whoever gets out of the top half, I think has a great chance to win that region. Whether it be Illinois, Oklahoma State, Tennessee, just any of those teams. Even Loyola. I'd rather not Loyola do it again. But whoever gets out of that top side of the bracket in the Midwest region, I think they'd have a good shot at, whoever they're facing, West Virginia, Houston, even San Diego State, if they make it that far as a Cinderella. I can see, I can see like the top half. Whoever wins the top half goes to the Final Four, and breaks out. And I have Illinois beating West Virginia here. West Virginia's run would end here, and I would have Illinois also beating Houston or just whoever's at the bottom of the bracket right there. Excuse me. Just from what I've seen. But on to the Final Four, Gonzaga, Michigan. Solid defensive battle here, I would think. And I'd have Gonzaga winning. And there's another bracket I have with Michigan actually beating Gonzaga, I think, and Michigan winning. I have 9 brackets, so I did one. I've done most with Gonzaga. I've done one with Baylor, one with Illinois, one with Tennessee. That's my homer one. One with Michigan, and I think a few upset ones. But I'm going to have Gonzaga winning this one, and the other one, a great matchup between Illinois and Baylor. I think Illinois, with their prowess and their battle testedness in the Big Ten, and just on the way to the champion or on the way to the Final Four from the top half of the bracket of the Midwest bracket, I should say. I have them upsetting, in my opinion, Baylor. Both are good, obviously. But I've kept it simple, I guess, with all 1 seeds in the Final Four. But Gonzaga, Illinois in the championship, and I chose Gonzaga to win 75-72. Might be a little high. Might be a little high of a score. But that's just what my gut's telling me, as it always is. So, yeah, Gonzaga, national champions. And, if this were to happen, they'd go undefeated. Which, a team like Kentucky couldn't do a little while back. But, my other ones, here's Tennessee. My second one, Gonzaga. Third one, Gonzaga. Just different opponents in the championship. Baylor winning, Illinois winning, Michigan winning. And in my few upset brackets I did, I could probably create a little bit more. But, I'm hoping my team wins Tennessee. But I figured, the night before, I've got some free time on my hands, after work tonight. So I was like, why not hop on and just do, my bracket prediction. But, yeah, thank y'all for watching. Whoever it was watching. I don't know who it was. I had one playback. Thank you. Thank you so much. But, yeah, we'll let y'all go. AFO is out. Go Vols.